Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Johnny, and this is Table Talk. We created this space to have conversations that impact our community.
We wanted to influence you, yes, you, in a way that whether you're positive or negative, anyone can relate. So come along on this journey with us and let's think,
Grow
and learn
together. So a lot of times, people reach out to us about our videos and they have different things to say about topics that we choose. And as of late, we've been dealing a lot with disclosure, dating pause, do's and don'ts about dating positive people. One of the things that jumped out in a recent comment section was the U equals you. Undetectable equals untransmittable.
Yes.
I have a concern for the comment, and I want to open it up and bring it up to you because basically, I walked away with, we're in U equals you. Now we don't have to talk.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's walk through that because the comment person was saying that, oh, I can't believe you guys are still talking about disclosure. Disclosure is being of the past. And, as someone who is HIV negative in a relationship with someone who's HIV positive, I want to know. And, you just can't slap up something like U equals you. What about all the people who were miseducated like me when we first started this thing 5 years ago? I didn't know, and you just can't say that I celebrate we're at U equals you, but if I don't understand it, help me. Where are we with that?
Well, I think where we are is we're still in a place where there's still such a thing called HIV criminalization. And that means depending on where you live, in the state in which you live, you could still be considered a criminal. You can actually get jail time if you do not disclose your HIV status to someone else.
Okay, so then that confuses me even more. I'm glad we're having this conversation because again, I walked away from the comment that the person left and I felt like shame on David and Johnny for bringing up this whole disclosure conversation. Mm-hmm. And now we're in U equals you, so if you're undetectable, it really doesn't matter anymore. So now you're saying that you can go to jail in some states for not disclosing your How does U equal you in the law work?
Well, to that point, I want to just make sure everyone knows, depending on where you live, because we have people that watch us all over the country. Mm-hmm. So depending on where you are, I just want to make sure that I have my notes and my facts correct. Mm-hmm. But if you live in one of these states,
okay,
they still have laws on their books that prosecute individuals for criminal exposure of HIV. Those states are Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Virginia, as well as Washington State. So if you are one of those people that live in that state right now, if you do not disclose, even in the U equals U movement, you can still be prosecuted for not disclosing your HIV status if you are someone who is living with HIV and has been diagnosed. If you do not disclose your status to someone else, and they find out about it, you can be criminally prosecuted.
So it's not all 50 states, it's just 49 states. Okay. No, but here's the thing.
It's not 49.
But I know it's not 49. But no, I guess to the point that I want to bring up, the person, I forgot the person's name, but to whoever it was, from what you're saying, you can't take U equals you and run down the street with this. You need to make sure you understand the laws in the city the state in which you live, which is why we're still having the conversation about disclosure. And I think, again, I say it all the time. this dynamic works because you were open and you were honest. And I'm not saying if you're not sharing your status, you're being dishonest. I'm just saying this dynamic works because you were open and you were honest about your situation as it pertained to what we were trying to cultivate. So I guess another thing too is, then what do we say to those people that are adamant? I mean, obviously they can go to jail, but what else, other advice could we offer them if they're like, well, you equals you is all I need?
Well, you equals you isn't all you need. That's the first thing. I think until we get, and that's why we have so many people that are fighting to change the laws, that are fighting on the front lines, talking to our representatives that are in government to be able to take these laws off the book, because it is counterproductive of the movement that we're currently in. It just, the science simply does not support where we used to be. And where we used to be is why we had that law on the books.
Right.
But we're no longer there. We now know that a person who is undetectable, it's virtually impossible to transmit the virus to someone else. So I think we just have to, science has to catch up with the laws, and the laws have to match up with the current science. Okay,
and so to all I definitely agree with that. And so if you are a community leader, an advocate, or just a lay person, I don't want people to feel that, we're antiquated or we're old for saying that, still having a disclosure conversation. Do you think that disclosure is still valid in the U equals U movement, and why?
Well, the reason why I think it's still valid, and I know that there are some people that don't because of the U equals U movement, there are a couple of things of why I think it's still valid. One is because I don't want to take away someone else's option if they want to be connected to me.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pause you right there, because see, here goes somebody else. Somebody else is gonna come back and say, so you make a choice when you get into an intimate situation with someone. You're taking a gamble, no matter what their status is.
True.
What do you say? So is that true or is that false?
No, I think it's true, but I think it's also about your interaction with that other person. So for me, the other thing that I was going to say is that you actually have to become a part of the person that's living with HIV, a part of their support system. Because if we're in the U equals U movement, you as the negative partner have a really important role to play in my remaining undetectable. Making sure that I'm adhering to medication.
Okay, so then, and I definitely hear that, but see, everybody is not on the same playing field that we are. Everybody's not trying to do relationship. Everybody's not in a relationship. I'm single. I'm ready to mingle. I'm hitting and quitting it. I'm one night standing it. I mean, it's 2018. People are doing what they do. It's like swipe left, swipe right. So what do we say to that person in all of this?
Do so at your own risk, because you don't know if that person is undetectable. You don't know if they're adhering to medication. You're only going by what they say to you.
That's what I was going to say. So then you're doing so at your own risk, but I think that our biggest thing that we're trying to say is be accountable for your choices. I think that's really what we want people to do, is to become accountable for their choices. It's not that it's judgment. Why are people so quick to jump to the judgment conversation? Because it's like you want somebody to be honest. Like, where's the judgment piece? I don't understand why people would feel that they're being judged.
Well, they're being judged, and that goes back to the stigmatization of it. The stigmatization of having HIV, because if you already know and you feel the stain of being positive, then you're more susceptible to keep your diagnosis to yourself. Okay. Because you don't want to be judged, because you don't want to be criminalized, you don't want that backlash of sharing your status. Okay. So that's what we're saying. You take the stain away. You take the stain away when you take your own power back and say, yes, this is something that I'm living with. I have the documentation to prove that I am undetectable. I am with a partner that is a part of my support system that says I'm in this as much as you are. No, I may not be taking the medication, but your health matters to my health. Right. Because we are in a relationship together. Now, if you're a person that is not in a relationship and you are single.
I wanted to get to that. I wanted to get to that.
Yeah, and you are somebody.
Have a good friend.
yes, somebody, and then be able to talk about it.
Yeah, family member, anybody.
Have that support system. So another thing that I wanted to say is that you want to make sure that if and or when you do decide to disclose, there are ways that I think, this is just me personally,
Sounds like another video.
think that you can protect yourself as the person who's living with HIV. That to say that you have documented proof that you shared your status. So this person can't come back later and say, okay, I got HIV from you. You were the only person I was with, and I know that you were the only person I was with, and I know that we had an encounter intimately, and you didn't tell me that you had HIV.
Right.
So I think that there are documented ways. If you have that conversation with someone and you say, hey, this is something that I'm living with, it's managed, it's under control, I'm adhering to medication, then they have a choice to say, yes, I want to move forward with you, or no, I don't think that's something that I want to deal with in my life. That is still their choice.
Right.
So if they choose to move forward with you, or
at their own risk.
At their own risk. And
Okay.
even if they choose not to move forward with you, send it to them in a text message.
Yeah, so you have the documentation.
So you have something to prove that I at least shared it with you.
And you can't say.
And you can't say you got it from me if I'm undetectable. Because if you're sleeping with me one time, that's not to say that you're not sleeping with somebody else one time.
Right. Because hey, it's where we are.
It's where we are in 2018. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that we never want to pass judgment on anybody else.
No.
That's not what we're here to do. We simply want to make sure that you have all of the information that you need to make sure that you are living your best, healthiest life, whether you are in a relationship, thinking about entering into a relationship, or if you're single.
Well, if you are the person who commented to us, hey, we do take all comments very seriously.
Very.
We look at them and we try to address them when we can. We hope you found this information to be helpful. And I guess until next time.
That's what we think, but we want to know what you think.
Are you enjoying Table Talk? We know you are, and we want to hear from you.
You can always email us at support@davidandjohnny.org. You can follow us at David and Johnny on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel today, David Johnny. Thank you so much to the Paz.com family for allowing us to provide amazing digital content. And until next time, we'll see you right here at the table. Bye.
See ya.